Hey, welcome to the podcast, Nicole.
Hey, thanks, Asher. Good to see you.
Likewise, for anyone who doesn't know you, who do you say you are?
My name's Nicole Stuhr. I am a working mom of twins. I'm a practicing civil site design stormwater engineer, and I've been in my career for almost 11 years at Geosyntech Consultants. And yeah, when I'm not designing stormwater, I am playing with 3-year-old toddlers.
Nice. I guess what's it like being a mom of twins?
Oh, I mean, it's wonderful. This is going to sound very engineer of me, but it's very efficient. Uh, I have a boy and a girl, and they're the same age, and I'm good. I'm done. Don't have to do pregnancy again. You know, I don't have a gap between when they go to high school or need a car. There's obviously like they're gonna be these things at the same time, but then it's done.
Yeah,
So, all the newborn baby stuff came in, and then all the newborn baby stuff went out. And so that it's nice. And then they get to be best friends and they just love each other, and it's wonderful.
nice. I guess were you initially shocked when you found out you were having twins? Were you like, oh,
Oh yeah.
okay.
My I remember my jaw dropped, and I asked the technician, I was like, "You're lying. You're joking, right?" And she was like, "We don't really joke about those things." I just I'll never forget that. And until she put both heartbeats on the screen, I was like, "That's not possible."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think my husband was like, "Yes, like this is you know, my husband is a former teacher, and so he was like, "Twins, I'm staying home. I'm
Yeah.
financially justified to not pay for daycare." So yeah, it was a shock.
Awesome. And I guess kind of going a little bit into your background, like how'd you grow up? Like was having kids something that you always look forward to? Did you grow up in a big family?
Yeah, so my family, we all live like in Georgia now, but they're all originally from the New York area, a
Mm,
bunch of Italian New Yorkers.
okay.
So lots of family. My uncle moved here in the 90s, and we kind of migrated this way. So I've been in Georgia since I was 4. I'm a peach.
Well,
Um, and I don't know. I mean, I always wanted to have kids. I don't know that I necessarily wanted to ever have a lot of kids.
mhm.
Um, but I knew I wanted to be a parent. And my husband, actually, him and I have been together since we were 16.
Oh wow.
We met in high school, and he is a natural nurturer. I wouldn't say I'm a natural nurturer, but he definitely is. And so, you know, falling in love with him and building that life together was definitely something we wanted.
Nice. And I guess did like like going from elementary or I guess from like 16 on, did you guys decide like, okay, hey, like we're gonna make it through the college phase and all that and then come out on the backside, or is it just you just figure it out as you go?
Yeah, I think we just figured it out as we went. I think like anybody, it was like, who knows? It's after high school, all bets are off.
Yeah.
College is a lot of personal growth. Some people change a lot. I think we both did change a lot. We just stayed pretty compatible and connected through that time. But at the same time, we went to different colleges, so we kind of had time to grow on our own in our own
Mhm.
space, as well as together, and it just sort of worked out. I
Yeah.
don't know that either of us knew in high school or anything like that. I think, in high school or early college, it was always like, okay, I have this plan. I'm going to get married by the time I'm 25, and then we're going to have kids before we're 30, whatever. I had this whole idea of what life would look like, and
Mhm.
it's not what life looked like. We got married right in 2020 during COVID.
Mm.
Um, and then our twins came in 2022.
Wow. Well, I guess through the phase of like figuring out what you wanted to be in high school and like kind of growing up Italian family, like did you have engineers in your background? Like why go that route?
Yeah, no. I had no engineers. I had no family that really did the college thing, even, to
Mm,
be honest. Most of my family, just other things. My dad worked in telecommunications. He was in the Navy, then he went into telecommunications, and he did that till he retired. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and once we went to school, she got a job as a secretary, and she did that for about 10 years. And then, so neither of them did the college thing. I have one uncle well, my aunt and uncle both went to college, but my aunt was also a homemaker most of her life. She had 4 kids, which baffles me how people manage that anymore. And then, so it just, yeah, college wasn't really something any of us were super familiar with. I think for me, I was always really good at school, which was also something that didn't run in my family so per se. So I remember my dad telling me from an early age in high school, he stopped being able to help me with my homework. And he was like, I don't know anymore. Because I was taking like calculus in high school. And so yeah, I knew I liked math and science. I knew I wanted to do something that was impactful to the world. I don't think I had any idea what engineering was when I was growing up.
I guess did you like what ultimately led you to choose like tech as a school to go to and like go down the engineering track to like discover it?
Yeah, so I had, I grew up in the Kennesaw area, so tech was just down the street, and lots of my friends went to tech. And I started working in robotics club, in high school. I was on math team. I was the captain of my math team. I was in orchestra. I was nice and nerdy.
Okay.
And with the robotics stuff, it was, kind of seeing an application of math and science, which was very cool. And I wasn't as interested in the robotic building part as I was in we did a lot of like outreach. We worked with like the Girl Scouts, and we did like community cleanups, and that part was really fun to me. I really enjoyed like doing something that served the environment,
Yeah.
served people. And so from there, I was like, okay, I think I want to do something in that. And I actually applied to Georgia Tech. I assumed I wanted to be an engineer, just having like gone, school counselors or whatever. Sounds like this would be good for you. And so, okay. Georgia Tech's a great school. I had Hope Scholarship, like wonderful things. So I applied there as a chemical engineer, thinking I wanted to like research cancer and like how people treat it and find the cure. And then I was like, this is a lot of like kind of lab work, like research. I don't know if that's my thing. And I met a few of my friends from high school had gone into environmental engineering, and I learned a little bit more about it and decided, hey, this kind of sounds like it's biology, it's chemistry, it's math, it's outside,
Yeah.
it's service. And that was kind of, yeah, how I ended up there.
Very cool. And I guess ultimately that's how we met.
Yeah. Well, so we were met during undergrad,
Yeah, about like junior year
like,
probably.
yeah, something like that.
Because for me, I didn't go directly to tech. I went to Southern Poly at first and
Right.
then transferred over. And sometimes it was rare to find someone that was like gone to tech all 4 years or like from freshman year on to graduation. That was still kind of nice. So you seem like
Oh,
what's the word? Anomaly.
anomaly.
Because like some people seem, not everyone, just certain people seem bitter at like transfer students where it's like, you guys took the shortcut. Like we had to sit here and take linear algebra and calculus 2 in the same semester. And I'm like, I don't know who had that idea, but someone just wants to like torture you. If there's any way there's like a weed out course, it's like
Yeah.
that's definitely one of them. And just seeing the fun parts of tech. I don't know how it was. I'm curious to know what it was like for you, but for me, coming in at that stage where it's like junior year, I was kind of glad that I was able to get some of the undergrad material, like the
Yeah.
what do we call that? The prerequisites and things like that,
hmm
having them done before it. And maybe I had to do like fluids again because they didn't like that one
Like transfer
particularly.
and yeah.
Yeah. But it was nice to like get your feet wet and like coming from a small town in North Georgia to like a slightly bigger town in Marietta and then moving to Atlanta or Midtown. It was like,
hmm
okay, this isn't too bad. Like I'm going at my pace and it's not just you're drinking from a fire hose. We're just opening
Totally.
this up. 4 assignments, 6 assignments due in one week, like back to back
hmm
to back to back to back. And it's like, oh my God. But every time
Yeah.
you meet somebody from tech now, it's like they're either like cool, calm, collected, happy go lucky about life, or depending on like when you meet them, they might still be like a little gun shy, where it's like
Oh, yeah.
you've been cattle prodded
Yeah.
a couple too many times, and it's like, just give me
So
a
I
little bit and I'll get out of
remember
it.
as a freshman,
Mhm.
so they have like the first, I don't know, week or two of school, they had like all the clubs come out onto the main walkway.
Yeah.
And like, so you could see everything that tech has to offer. And so I remember they do it like over 4 days, and like, one day is like the academic, one day is like the sports, one day is
Mhm.
whatever. And I remember talking to somebody, whatever booth, and they said to me, like, oh, you must be a freshman. And I was like, why do you say that? And they said, because there's still hope in your eyes. And I, like, that has stuck with me so hard. Um, I'll never forget that. And I remember just being like, like, is this place gonna crush my soul?
Yeah.
Luckily it didn't, but I mean, I took physics 2 at Southern Poly over
Mhm.
the summer, which is
Okay.
like the best choice ever because uh as an environmental person, I was not really keen on the physics side.
Yeah.
Um, so I and as also after having spent, freshman and sophomore year at Tech, living at Tech, paying all the prices of living in Midtown,
Mhm.
I was like, I guess I was like, man, that was a smart choice going, financially, like stress wise, like all of that was way more feasible had you
Yeah.
done, those courses at Southern Poly and then gone to Tech. So I don't know. I guess I just have respect for that of like, that's like very economical and logical and like
Right.
saved
Right.
yourself so much like heartache and stress and to get to, the same, we're in the same place, it's not like
Yeah.
it's the
Because
same idea of like when I was in high school, I had a 4.0 in high school and I got a 4.0 in undergrad.
mhm.
Um, and like nobody cares. It literally
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like and I went through all this stress of getting straight A's for like for what? For what reason? Like
Yeah.
nobody cares.
But it's like I like that your personality still like stuck, like lasted through, because like we say, some di- some experiences can kind of break people or make people just
Oh
to
yeah.
be like, okay, you have hard days, but then when you kind of get back to like, okay, I need to find myself, maybe I need like a vacation or get back around family, people that love me, people that care about me, and like people actually like spend time with you, not wanting something from you. And it's nice to just be like, oh yeah, that's what life is like. It's not always like these demands you've got to meet constantly, deadline,
Yeah.
deadline, deadline. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what it feels like to have my head above water. And you look
Have like
around.
a life and like yeah, I mean when I finished tech, I'm interested to know if you felt this way having transferred in, if it was like a I I was always a good student and I was
Mhm.
always very like academically driven. I'm not very like I have I'm not very competitive when it comes to sports or anything. Like I like to play like intramurals, but
Mhm.
I'm not competitive. I'm not playing in the JV team or I'm not doing that. And like I was never I was just always very like yeah, academic club oriented. Like my extracurriculars were just kind of more school, I guess.
Yeah.
So when I finished school and started my job, I remember my first like annual review, I'd been working here for a year and I was
Mhm.
like, I would work regularly overtime because I was like, what else is there? Like, this is what I do. Like
Yeah.
especially grad school, just like trained me of like, my fun is my job. I work. I do work. And
Mhm.
then I was just like, I think there's maybe more to life. I think maybe I don't want to do this for 40 years, just this. Like,
Yeah.
so I started exploring more. I took dance classes, I joined book clubs, I, started trying different things and like learning how to have a hobby. Like, I
Mhm.
don't feel like I knew how to have a hobby,
Yeah.
at least not a hobby with other people. Like, I like to
Right.
read, I like
Right.
to do puzzles, but like, those are very independent things.
Right.
Um, so I had to like I had to learn how to hobby. Uh,
Yeah.
I
I
still am not
think
very
me
good at it, but
I think me too. I'm glad I'm not the
really,
only one, because even like starting
no.
this podcast, I remember like my girlfriend had asked me like, do you even have hobbies? Because like I would go and play frisbee from time to time, or like because there's something in a mural sport that I did in college, and then now doing something like jujitsu where it's like you get to socialize with other people. It's like those are fun things kind of taking me back to high school. But in college, it was
Yeah.
kind of like, hey, you socialize a little bit, but then in transferring, it was literally like, I've got 2.5 years to get this degree, come in, do a summer semester, and then like 2 years straight, do like a
Mm-hmm.
rotation to finish out the my co-op program. But it was just like, this is the goal, this is the mission. But then once you get around other engineers your age, like other people like they want to do lunch together, hey, let's hang out at somebody's birthday, let's go grab dinner,
Mm-hmm.
let's go do this. And it's like, okay, I'll do this. I'll try something. Like I still recognize some things were not in my comfort zone. And I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, went to Mardi Gras, Bourbon Street, cool. Probably
Yeah.
not coming back. It's like
Same.
been
Same.
there, seen it,
Yeah.
maybe not. It was like not anytime soon, but it was like at least being exposed to different people and getting a chance to like
Yeah.
make those different approaches. It's like, okay, yeah, like school taught me one thing really well, and then life is helping me kind of make room
Whole
for
other.
all this other
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, I just had lunch with gosh, he is my old math teacher's son, who I used to babysit in high school. And so like we always joke that I'm his big sister. And we had lunch and he's doing mechanical engineering at Auburn right now.
Nice.
And he was talking about, some of the intramural sports. He's like mountain biking, he's doing all these things. And I told him, I was like, you're never going to have access to this many things, like in a space that's like so organized ever
Mm.
again. It's like,
Yeah,
if there's anything you want to try, now's the time. Don't worry about the extra semester. Just do it because you just
yeah,
never like have that again. You never have when you can just be like, oh, I'm interested in trying X. And then you just like go to the thing because they're having it on
yeah,
Tuesdays. It's it's kind of wild. And it was definitely a community. I think there was definitely a community that
for
I
sure.
missed. And I do really also like at Georgia Tech, there's so many people from so many different backgrounds, so many different nationalities. I learned so much about other cultures, celebrated different international holidays. Like I remember in grad school when the World Cup was going on, it was just like
Mhm.
so much fun because there were so many people from so many different countries.
Mm.
And you would know when there was a big game going on because it was like there was a conference room with the game on and like there was no one in their offices. And so like that was all so fun. And
Yeah,
I get a lot of that here too, which I love. But I also then moved out of the city and moved into the suburbs. And obviously it's a little less diverse in the suburbs. Um, so I'm glad here at Geosyn we have a lot of that too. Like we do a big Thanksgiving where everybody brings like food from their nationalities and it's like so fun.
nice.
So we still do a lot of that. It's just less accessible like all the time because we're working, right? It's a little
Right,
bit
right.
different. But yeah, I mean, I definitely missed that part of college.
Yeah.
But you know, college also, I was just talking about this at lunch as well. It's like pre-college, I think I was much more extroverted.
Mhm.
I think I do still have, I think I'm a little bit in between now, but then I went to grad school and just like fully introverted. And
Mhm.
then, I think a lot of us at tech are just socially awkward and introverted for the most part. And so it makes me happy having like found civil engineering is like a lot of people are like this too. Like we're
Yeah.
all kind of similar in that way.
But I mean, the thing that's funny about it is like being introverted, like once you get around somebody else, like where you don't feel like it's going to be too taxing to like talk and you have similar things to talk about, it's like, oh, like you can have a long, drawn out conversation. But like
Oh yeah.
once you're done, you're kind of just like, okay, cool. I met my quota for the day. I'm
Yeah.
good. I can go
Yeah.
rest and recharge for a little bit.
I told my husband it's so different too with kids because they're the whole social construct with kids is like you have to I read something the other day, it was like millennial parenting is like first you have to regulate yourself to help your
Mm.
children regulate. And like after doing that for a few hours, you're just like spent.
Yeah.
So I told my husband, I was like, I'm not always necessarily looking because I come to work every day. I come to my office.
Mhm.
And so when he has free time, he's like, I want to go be with adults, which makes sense. He's home with
Yeah.
toddlers. When I have alone time, I'm like, I just want quiet.
Yeah.
I just want a puzzle. I just want an audiobook.
Yeah. It's something where it's like I don't have to solve for something. It's like I've spent all day
Hmm.
problem solving. I just want to like switch
All
off
done. I need
for
to
a little
shut
bit.
this off.
That
I
makes
do a lot of word puzzles and just like Yeah. Anyway.
Mhm. That so like when you say word puzzle, is it like the Scrabble, or do you do like the online apps where you have to like play against friends and things like that, or you just
Oh,
do it
I don't, yeah,
against the
I just do
computer?
like the New York Times puzzles. I like those. They have crosswords and they also have some other like word games. And then I just like crosswords. I just do a lot of online crosswords.
Gotcha.
I don't know what it is, but it's like what I do to go to sleep. It
Mhm.
helps me. I think it just helps me not think about like the stress at whatever was on my mind. I'll think about, the clues. And so then it'll help me shut down a little bit.
Gotcha. It's funny. I feel like I've maybe tried it once before and I was like, I don't get it. And then I didn't want to be upset by like not being able to get it and then kind of go down a spiral of like, why don't I get it? Like, I wish I understood this. And it's like,
Nah,
okay,
just look it up if I can't get it. It's not that important to me.
got you.
I usually look up at least two or three of the clues each night if I get stuck.
Yeah. And the um like have you been back to tech since graduating?
Yeah, I mean, I go back for career fairs.
Okay.
I've gone back a few times for those, and I've gone back for other things like Susan will have every once in a while she'll get tickets to the civil booth at Bobby Dodd Stadium.
Oh,
And so
nice.
I've gone to a few games with them, which has been fun, or just other events to catch up with other alumni.
Gotcha.
Not lately less.
Yeah,
Pre-kids, I went back more, but
gotcha.
um, yeah, I went back last year for fall career fair, I think.
Hmm.
It's like a whole different place now. It's
Hmm.
everything is so upgraded. Even Mason, like the Mason building is refreshed and refurbished and
Yeah. Well,
um
I think when we were finishing up our senior year, it's like that's when they started doing the construction and then they started
yeah.
farming us out to different buildings and things like that.
Yeah, so I did the first half of my master's. We were in the what was that building? The other environmental lab, like towards East
Oh,
Campus, but I can't remember the name. Daniel Lab.
okay.
We were at Daniel Lab for the first part of my master's, and then we moved back,
Hmm.
um, which was fine. But like I think they've renovated since then. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
this was a decade ago, Asher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went back with a couple of the other alumni, like some of the guys that we did civil structural with. One guy, I don't know if you'd recognize him, like Aaron Morris, he's a geotech. Garen,
I might
of course
recognize
I've
my face better than name.
got you. Like Garen Hughes, he's a structural, and Stephen, why am I blanking on their names? Stephen Slaughter. So like we got together like the last 3 years and we just picked out one of the football games to go to and we were like, hey, we'll go check it out, hang out for the
Nice.
weekend. And then just being able to see the campus, it's like each time that we went back with everyone else already having families and their kids are growing up, they're looking at it and you're like, yeah, I could see my kids coming here. It's like you kind of got back, you've gotten past like the 2 years away
Yeah,
from campus, and
exactly.
then it's like 10
Mm-hmm.
years have gone by, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I see the value of it. I don't feel like I've just been abused and run over. It's like, it's like going to tech helped me get to where I am now in my career. And like
Yeah.
people recognize the name of it. Like my older brother had told me, and just being able to kind of enjoy that. Like, I'm not, I haven't been like a diehard tech fan, but like obviously if people look up my resume or like LinkedIn and things like that, they're like, oh, okay, you went to tech and like you talk and we had
Mm-hmm.
the same professors and things of that sort. And I'm actually going to talk with Dr. Burns probably, I think it's next week. I reached out to
Good.
her and just like still having that like friendly approach where I did one career fair going back and it was almost 10
Mm-hmm.
years to the day of like having graduated. And I was like, wow, this is strange being on the other side of the table where you're
Isn't
going
it?
around and
Yeah.
like, what was that like for you?
I mean, I think I definitely felt the distance from
Mm,
college, right? I think it's easy to feel like it was yesterday sometimes.
yeah,
And it definitely reminded me like, oh, it wasn't.
yeah,
Uh, um, but I think I get a lot of hope and energy from being on campus and talking to students who have like all these dreams of the future and what they want to do. And, I think 10 years into our careers, it's easy to get a little jaded
Yeah.
and maybe lose some of that energy and excitement. And so it's always nice and refreshing to like go see, you know, the up and coming people who are just learning about all this stuff for the first time and they're just so energized and ready to innovate and change the world. And it's just
Yeah.
like, it's so exciting. So while it makes me feel a little bit old, it also makes me feel energized
Yeah. That's good.
and excited and kind of reminds me how Georgia Tech, a lot of the stuff you're learning, one is you're learning how to learn, right?
Mhm.
Which is important. And then also you're learning like a lot of the up and coming things that I
Yeah.
feel like we're just now seeing in our careers like now. I
Mhm.
remember working with Susan on, we were talking about doing microbial source tracking,
Mhm.
12 years ago or whatever it was. And now I'm like seeing it all the time coming up. And so I'm like, that is just, it's just wild.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It,
I don't know. How did you feel going, being
well,
on the recruiter side?
it's funny because it's like I weirdly felt like a big kid where it's like you're you're there because I went with one of our senior engineers for a company that I worked with for the last 3 years, but I recently pivoted. But it was nice. We were both going as tech alums, but he maybe had like 10 or 20 years on me. And
Mm-hmm.
he had an environmental engineering background, and I was there to represent the geotechnical background. And like unfortunately the candidates that we were getting were all construction major, but like
Yes. Yeah.
almost everybody had the exact same class they were
Yeah.
taking, the exact same profile, and we're like, what is going on? Like
Yeah.
this is like the difference between doing the fall career fair versus like
Exactly.
the spring career fair, which is like
Yep.
civil specific, and it's like, hey, these are the disciplines. But like we had computer science engineers coming up, or like people where there wasn't really a lot going on in their industry, where things
Mm-hmm.
were going in the negative direction. They're like, hey, I know I don't qualify for what you guys have, but tell me whatever you need. If you need me to be an admin, if you need me to be a secretary, I just need to get a job. And it's like, we wish we could, but it's like we
Yeah.
really need someone
Yeah.
specifically in this skill, even if you're coming out and you're going to be, if you've got lab experience with Susan, and like if you have a background in environmental engineering, geotechnical, it'd be much easier to train somebody that's like, okay,
Yeah.
they know what soil types are, they have an idea of that. And of course, like you're always going to get on the job training, but just
Right.
trying to go from like, I know absolutely nothing about that
Totally.
to
Yeah.
here's what I need. It's like, it's kind of a hard sell.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had the career fair is the same. I've gotten tons of construction management, and I'm like, this is not what I'm looking for. I don't know what to do with
Yeah.
this. We don't really do this. Like, and I've talked to several people at Tech about that of like, why sometimes it's like you get lots of diverse people, and then sometimes you get nobody. Like, what is the
Yeah.
deal? And they're like, we don't know. Like, we can't figure out. I've never gotten an answer about like why. Even at the fall career fair, sometimes it's like I get like nobody interested in like civil, at
Yeah.
least civil like earthworks, site civil, stormwater. I get tons of like structural engineers and like
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it
where are
kind
the
of
geotech? Where are the
it,
environmental track? Like where are they?
it's funny because it reminds me of like how I had to treat the career fair differently, thinking back to then. And it's like one of those pivot points at time where I was like, I was doing a co-op that wasn't directly civil, it was doing non-destructive testing. And then
Mm-hmm.
once I realized that like it wasn't going in the way that I needed it to go for me, and that I needed to look for something else, like I had to change my approach. And even like missing a class to make the career fair was like, hey, I need to make this because if I
Mm-hmm.
don't get it done this semester, it's like I graduate, I'm not going to have anything. But I guess it goes back to your thing of like people, like students kind of understanding themselves to know that like, okay, hey, I'm here to like, yes, get good grades, get straight A's, but it's like if that doesn't translate to having
Mm-hmm.
a job or like being able to actually interact with people where they're like,
Exactly.
yeah, you look good on paper, but if you're not in the room, it doesn't really matter. Like you're gonna
Mhm.
send your resume and it's like the AI is gonna sort it, spit it out, and
Absolutely.
it's like if you don't take the time to make that face-to-face interaction, it can be very discouraging. But then
Yeah.
even seeing like the same recruiters come over and over, I'm like, man, it really takes energy to like plan, okay, I've got to have this shipped over. They
Oh,
have
yeah.
their whole setup and then they've got to talk to people. And it's like they can't look like too discouraged where it's like they're meeting people that like either don't have a clue about like how they should present
Yeah.
themselves to a company or like they don't have what they're looking for and they're like,
Right.
hey, we're doing this because we've got to maintain the relationship that we have
Yeah,
so that we
exactly.
get the right people versus like they don't have anything for us, we're not going to show up, like forget it,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just to hell with
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And I've been, yeah, been to those career fairs where you just keep saying the same spiel.
Yeah,
And like sometimes I'll be like, I don't remember if I said this matter already. Like it's been 3 hours. I don't remember, like I can't think
right.
anymore. Um, whereas there are other times when you just have really great conversations and, come back and I'm like, okay, I want to call this person and this person. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's just hit or miss. You never know. You never
Yeah,
know what you're going to find. And I think in a way that, keeps us going too.
yeah,
It's, one semester might be a dud, but the next one usually will be good. So it ebbs and
gotcha.
flows.
So I guess with your career being with the same company for the last like 11, 10 years, like have you been able to get a lot of like new engineers in the door or what's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to hire several engineers, and now I'm actually mid making an offer to our intern who was with us for the summer, working
Nice.
on hopefully hiring her. And I've got somebody who's starting a week from Monday, so I've got a week to get myself ready for him.
Cool.
So yeah, I've got to bring in a lot of new engineers, and it's really interesting to watch, the process of people learning what they want to do and getting better at it, or learning like maybe this isn't for me. And like, you know, I had an intern once that she was a tech student and
Mhm.
she worked here for a few months. Oh, excuse me. Um, and found out after she went back to school, she decided she became an animator. She like left engineering school and went to
Mm.
animation. Hopefully it's not my fault, but
Yeah.
but you learn, what the business or what the degree like actually translates to doing and whether
Right.
you are into it or not, right? So like one thing about civil engineering, I don't feel like anybody told us,
Mhm.
was like about becoming a professional engineer and like stamping things and
Mm.
what that equates to and how that's like liability and there's a lot of ethics behind this and like I don't feel like anyone really explained that to me.
Mm.
um, I don't think it's necessarily scared me off or anything, but I do once I started learning about it, I was like, okay, like no one tells us to you about like civil environmental, like no one. I
Yeah.
mean, we got encouraged to take the EIT, but like
Mhm.
otherwise, so yeah, I mean, it's really enjoyable to help other people grow their careers. I had so many people here who have been instrumental in my career and have
Mhm.
built me up and taught me, mentored me, that I really enjoy doing the same for others. So I do enjoy mentoring and training new engineers, and I want to keep training, the future generations, because now I'm like an older generation, I guess. So
Nice.
as the reigning civils retire and we kind of take their place, it's um we have a project that has been going on since my boss was a staff engineer, and
Mhm.
she like worked on the basics of that project when it started. And now we have another project that came around that's like similar. And she's like the lead stormwater engineer on it. And so it's
Mhm.
like watching other people evolve in the same way, and like the same thing for myself. I'm working on a project now. It's a very large scale civil design project that like I'm stamping. It's my project. And I feel like it's 10 years later and I'm finally thinking like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I kind of feel
Yeah.
like the imposter syndrome has finally faded enough that I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I know what I'm doing now. Like so I see that in young engineers too. And I just think that, I had the same, like, oh, am I doing this right? I don't know. So yeah, anyway, I do
Yeah,
enjoy mentoring and bringing up the next group.
nice. I guess, do you find that is it, do they remind you of yourself? Are they easy to work with? I guess obviously like hiring engineer after engineer, it's like, okay, like we're finding what we're looking for. It's not like people all of a sudden are become just too difficult or too needy, where it's like, if you don't meet these, like, or you're maybe not exactly what we're looking for.
I think at least in the organization I work in, I think, we recognize, like you said, school doesn't teach you everything. There's a
Yeah.
lot of on-the-job training. School only gets you so far. I think that generate the way that generations treat work and home life has
Mhm.
evolved over the years. And I think that plays a lot into how we manage our work, our work life in general.
Yeah.
It's led to a lot more flexibility, at least for us, working from home, altering your hours when you have stuff going on. Like for me as a working mom, it's really important. And my group is not, we work to live, not live to work. And
Yeah.
um, it can be obviously very different. And I think that attitude and the way that generations treat work lends
Mhm.
itself to, some differences over time, as opposed to necessarily what you're able to achieve. It's just like how it's just different in how we treat it. And so, the important thing is being adaptable and being understanding and being compassionate and learning, what those things are. And every person's different.
Yeah.
So learning how I've learned a lot about how I am and how I speak and how I think, and how sometimes the way I might say something could be taken like totally out of what I meant for it to.
Mhm.
I'm generally a very direct person, but then like, some people do very well with that and really appreciate that. Some people it feels very offensive.
Mhm.
And so, learning how not only I communicate, but how that communication is received as a manager is really important. And I think, I've learned a lot about other types of people. And while a lot of us are all kind of similar and socially awkward and introverted, we all communicate differently. So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of one of the parts I'm really learning more as I have more people that I'm managing,
Yeah.
um, and learning about myself as well.
It's pretty cool. So I guess, like, how would you say this year's played out for you so far?
Uh, this year, like 2025, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's already almost over. I feel like I don't know where
Right.
the year went. I don't know if it's kids or getting older. Like, do you just feel like I feel like time is just like speeding by my face all the time now? Like,
Yeah.
I
It
don't know
felt
how
like,
we got to August.
well, I mean, to be honest, the winter months always feel a little slow. Like January seemed like it was kind of taking its time, and February and March. And then April, it's kind of like, okay, spring's coming. And then once May, June hits, it's like overdrive. Then
Yeah,
halfway through the month. And then, oh, and then it's like, you're in
yeah,
August. And then tomorrow it'll be like, it's Labor Day. And it's like,
yeah,
hold up, let me take a
yeah.
breath.
I feel like I'm already planning for Christmas. I'm like, I don't know where this happened, but
Yeah.
you know, it's been a fun year. So like I won this big project back in February, March.
Mhm.
So I've been learning how to manage a larger project. I've been managed launching, but like not only manage the project, but also stamp it. So I'm both, the engineer of record and the PM for the project. So
Okay.
it's a lot to balance. So it's new for me. I'm learning a lot, which is interesting. And I just got promoted to senior engineer in January. So kind of,
Congratulations.
I wouldn't say new responsibilities. Thank you. I would say I was probably already doing them. I don't really feel like they're new responsibilities, but I have more, I don't know, recognition, I guess, that and more opportunity to lead, which
Yeah.
is exciting and different. So yeah, I mean, I think what I really like about my job and my career is I've always been learning. I've never really felt stagnated and like, okay, like I've reached the maximum I can reach. There's nothing left to do. Like,
Yeah.
I've always felt there's more to learn and more to do. So
Yeah.
this year it's how to manage $1 million projects and also design them and manage the people that are helping you and also go home for dinner at a decent hour.
That's what's important, because it's like, if you if you don't make time to get back to the people that you're doing it for, it's kind of like you're over
What's it
there
for?
working and they're
Yeah.
just kind of watching you like, you have any
Hmm.
time for us?
Yeah. Yeah. So tomorrow we're having family day because my husband is going to be out of town next week, and then I'm going to be at a conference the week after. So
Gotcha.
tomorrow we're all going to hang out together. I think we're going to go hiking and
Nice.
play.
Fun. And um, I had a question kind of on the tip of my tongue and then it escaped me. But do you have any questions for me?
Oh, I don't know. I've been enjoying our conversation. What has been the favorite thing you learned from doing the podcast?
The favorite thing has been um, like really learning how to talk to people and actually like it feels weird because I'm like, shouldn't I be able to do this on a regular basis? But I feel like it's almost making it more intentional to have like really make time to engage with somebody for an hour to be like, okay, hey, like it's on the calendar. I'm talking with Nicole this day. And it's like, I really value that time. And it's also helped me to find my voice to be like sometimes I might feel shaky if I'm out of practice, but the more I've spent time away from the podcast, really living life, practicing engineering, just practicing being more of myself, it's helped me like show back up and just be like, okay, hey, I'm going to treat this professionally, take time to set up, and then look for ways to improve, but really be present in having the conversation. And like, yes, I might think of a question here or there, but like, I'm really trying to listen. And then I take maybe pieces of that later on, or even if I can go back through the library because Facebook it does a great job of reminding me, hey, a year
Yeah,
ago
fair.
today, you did this. And it's like, I'm pretty sure it's doing it more so to prompt me to post because it wants you engaged, but I post and I leave. But looking back at a lot of the memories over like 240, probably 250 episodes by the time we share this one, it's like, I'm glad I took the time to document moments and really
Mm,
engage in like one-to-one conversations where it's like, hey, like there's still a lot of life to live, but it's good to also see like where we came from and like
yeah.
who we met along the way.
Yeah. Well, I think you've been very seamless with it. You seem like a pro. As you make conversation very easy. And I really appreciate, I don't know if it's a tech thing or just a friendly thing, but I appreciate that. I mean, we've kept in touch a little bit over LinkedIn early after college. We haven't really
Mhm.
talked so much after that. But when you reached out, it was like, oh my gosh, like it's so good to hear from you. And it's very easy. And I'm not going to say it feels like no time has passed because
Yeah.
it has, but it is still easy to connect, and I really appreciate that. And I think it's unique and not something that's always so easy. So I really appreciate you reaching out. It's been really nice to reconnect and um, reminisce a little bit.
You're very welcome. And is there
Awesome.
anything you'd like people to follow up on you with, like whether you have a website or anything, if you want them to check out your company or just learn something about engineering? I know like I was always excited when engineering week came up in February, but then as soon as it come, I would forget about it. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna do something, and then it's gone. And it's like,
Totally. Yeah. My one of my colleagues and also she volunteers with the Atlanta Science Fair.
okay.
Atlanta Science. I think that's what it is. Um, and that's always really fun. I'm excited to start taking my kids.
Hmm.
But yeah, I agree. There's always stuff like that, and especially now that come up and you run out of time for it. I don't have, I don't know. I mean, I have a LinkedIn. I don't really have a lot of like online presence.
Gotcha.
But you're happy, anyone's happy to message me on LinkedIn. I'm on there once a month or so. So it takes me a minute to respond. I think you had messaged me like 2 weeks before I actually responded. Um,
It's a hard thing to keep up with. There's like people are on TikTok now. Instagram's always there. You got YouTube. There's too many to keep
there
up
are a
with.
lot of things. But I'm kind of like you on like the social media is I'm a looker, but I don't really post much.
Yeah.
Um, LinkedIn more of like I end up on there because from like work stuff, I'll think of like you just asked me to look. You were telling me some of the people from college. I was like, okay, let me see if I remember who they are.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I don't really have a lot on. myself, but I think one thing I have been reflecting on a lot lately, um, I trained as an environmental engineer, and environmental engineering is very, it's about 50-50 women versus men. At least it was when I was in school. And now, like being more on the civil side, um, at least my group is still very like balanced. We're still very 50-50.
Mhm.
But I think it's still very uncommon to see women in the field, at least on like the civil side, on a site or something like that. And one thing that when I started working, I was auditing construction projects. And so here, like 22-year-old me comes walking up to this, 60-year-old contractor that's been doing this forever. And I'm telling him, what he's not doing right.
Mhm.
Um, it is very intimidating. But it taught me a lot of confidence. And I was saying earlier how like I'm just now starting to feel like I'm beating the imposter syndrome. Like it's so
Yeah.
hard. And I don't know if it's just if it's everyone, if it's more intense for women, if it's just women. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I can tell you mine was pretty intense.
Mhm.
Even though I did great in school, I went to Georgia Tech. I really try to do my best. I think it's very hard to beat, but I think it's really important that we build our confidence and um, civil engineering gets a bad rap sometimes, but I think it's actually one of the most wonderful things um, that we can do. Like I said early when we first asked me, it's like, serving public, using our skills, whereas there's a lot of math, science, problem solving,
Yeah.
lots of people work, lots of figuring out what people need and solving their problems. It's really fun and it's a really wonderful profession that I feel
Yeah.
like is only thought about when things break. So we do a lot of good stuff that doesn't break.
Yeah.
And so I like to just shine a little light on civil and kind of leave it with like you can do that. I remember that was was that at tech when we were there? It was like we can do that. It was like one
It
of the
probably
phrases.
it probably is. I mean, there's so many slogans these days, and
I
it's
know.
hard to remember like where'd that come from or like
I I feel like I remember it being in one of the campaigns one time. I don't know when it was, but
gotcha.
I think of it a lot now of like, we tell people you can do whatever you want to be. And so you think about being like a lawyer, a superhero, or a firefighter, whatever. And it's like, actually, we do a lot of really cool, really exciting, really beautiful things.
Yeah. And it's
um,
to your point, it's great to kind of see it come together because like having spent a lot of the last 10, 11 years for me, or 12 years, I guess at this point, counting some of college and things like that, it's like being on construction projects, especially like you mentioned the scale of them, and just seeing everything that it takes from like a laborer, somebody that might just be
yeah,
coming in and sweeping the floors and like really having the mindfulness or like the attention to remember like, hey, that person matters too, because
yeah.
some of us will get lazy and we won't take out our trash. And then it's like, oh, you notice this person's not here because they've been sick. And it's like, oh, let me ask, like, how are you? How are the kids? How are the family? And it's not like you're talking down to somebody to get something from them, but it's like, no, I genuinely care about you. And like
Hmm.
people that work in the civil trades, whether it's transportation, environmental, land development, structural, and geotech, it's like it's really neat to see you're like the ants that farm the land and things like that work on the
Hmm.
infrastructure and like people are wondering like, oh, how's the air quality like this, or why is there smog, or it's like we don't have those problems in certain areas because like people are doing the checks
Hmm.
and balances without you having to know. If we're in the news, like
Hmm.
something really went wrong, but usually
Yeah,
it's like
right.
we're doing our job, you never like hear of us because it's like you're like that not so invisible hand, but like just when you're not there, we
Yeah.
try to get in, get out, and get out of the way. And it's really
Hmm.
nice for people to like notice it. But even when the public maybe doesn't notice you, it's nice to see everyone that's like forward facing, from the management, from the project managers, the superintendents, the engineers. And to your point, coming in as like the young engineer, where it's like you don't know as much, but you're tasked with something and you've got to build the confidence. Of course, they're gonna uh make jokes and this and that. And
Yeah.
it's like if you can roll with the punches, they're like,
Yeah,
okay, like we can trust you. We like you. You might be a little green or you might be a little nerdy, but we like that
right.
about you because when it comes to what we need from you, you're always willing to deliver on that and you
Yeah,
give us what we need. And then we give you a little bit of that. And just going back to all the great people that we've met over the last years, I feel like I've forgotten more people that than I've
yeah,
met. But like as I'm doing this, I'm like slowly remembering and just kind of like going through social media almost in a sense of like, oh yeah, like let me reach out. Let me see if I can like communicate with someone because it's like you don't know if it's going to be another year and then like you don't
yeah,
get to talk to the person, but then actually being
totally.
able to go back and be like, hey, a moment in time, we captured it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a beautiful part of this. That's very cool. And when you first mentioned you were doing a podcast, I was like, I think of like murder podcasts, but there is so much value in just kind of like, yeah, like you said, capturing it the moment. And when you're still doing this in 20 years and you like, hey, let's recap, let's go back and you send me this episode, remember this? Like,
Yeah.
gosh,
There's
life's so different now.
Yeah, there's a lot that changes from like 6 years of doing this now versus like even year to year. It's like, wow, I just
Yeah.
spoke to an author where she wrote a book about like getting over divorce. And then since then
Mm,
she's made a journal and about like you can basically pick it up any day and just seeing like the transformation that's happened for her life. And it's like,
mhm.
wow, that's pretty neat. Like everybody in their own individual pockets are like doing things and like you won't always get to hear it because it's like just life is happening.
Yeah,
Like you've got twins, you got to
exactly.
keep up with, like you're building into their lives and things like that.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. It was really good to see you and to catch up and take this moment to really have a genuine conversation.
Likewise, let's do it again in a year or so.
Okay.
Or
Take,
sooner.
yeah,
Take care, Asher.
you too.